For this video, we're going to go over the family vocabulary in Spanish, and it's all going to be based on this little girl here, Abril. Because when you change the center of a family tree, all of the relationships are also going to change. So if we look at the people that are closest to Abril, that are connected to her, we have La Hermana, which is going to be her sister, and El Hermano, which is her brother. The only difference between brother and sister in Spanish is that the female version gets an A at the end and the male version gets an O. And you're going to see that throughout the family vocabulary. Next, above her and her siblings, we have Madre, which is her mother, and Padre, which is her father. These are special. They both end in an E, not an O and an A, but we know that they're masculine or feminine based on la or el. So in Spanish, when you see el or la presented in this way, el is telling you that the word is masculine, and la is telling you that it's feminine. This is very important because we're going to see this throughout all of Spanish with the adjectives and nouns. Then, after her parents, if we go a little bit higher, we have her grandparents. El abuelo is her grandfather. La abuela is her grandmother. And then on the same level as her parents, we have her aunts and uncles. So el tío is going to be an uncle, and la tía is going to be an aunt. And then the children of her aunt and uncle, el primo or la prima, and on the other side also, la prima, el primo, these are going to be her cousins. So in English we don't distinguish between boy and girl cousins, but in Spanish we do. So you have to pay attention to that when you see primo, it's referring to a boy cousin, and prima is referring to a girl cousin. And in English we would just say cousin for both of them. Now we're going to concentrate on the grammar point, which is going to be the use of de. We're going to use de to show possession in Spanish. So instead of an apostrophe S like in English, we're going to use de and then the owner's name. Of course, people don't own other people, but in this case, you can think of it as saying my brother's mother, my cousin's sister, in that way. So here are my examples. If I ask ¿Quién es Jennifer? Who is Jennifer? And I look here up on the chart on the family tree, I can see that Jennifer is la prima, and this is all based on Abril, remember? And I can form a sentence with that. Jennifer es la prima de Abril. In English that would be Jennifer is the cousin of April. The next one, ¿Quién es William? If we look up at the top, you can see that William is the grandfather. So my sentence is going to reflect that. William es el abuelo de Abril. What I'd like for you to do is to pick 5 different people from the family chart and to write sentences about who they are to Abril. You can pick anyone you want. Just make sure that you're using the correct ending if it's a man or a woman. For example, I can say Ricardo, and you can see here that Ricardo is going to be her father. Ricardo es, I'm using is, el padre de Abril. And I'm using de. instead of an apostrophe S to show possession. I'd like for you to go ahead and write out 5 sentences from this family tree before we move on to talking about your own family.